something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, Peaches! Welcome to Fix It, where friends don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay, and you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
Ho there, listeners. Heidi, ho there, listeners. Everyone out there in Vlisteria huddled around their government-sponsored radios. Yes, that's right. We had despots.
Okay.
Of the podcast lords.
Benevolent despots?
Yes.
But despots nonetheless.
It is a velvet-lined iron fist.
Sure,
yes. Indeed. Yes, indeed.
It's a golden cage you're all in.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast this
You didn't
week.
have a choice.
You did not have a choice. It's
but we still thank you for being here.
We appreciate it regardless. Man, I love making jokes like that because your butthole gets so tight so quick.
I got to make diamonds somehow, Jay.
Welcome to our show, Fix It. I am Jay. That's Adam. You may know us as the demigods of podcast or of YouTube reaction content previewed. You may know us from there. You also may know us from our lemonade stand that we host in our neighborhood from time to time. When we're, we just have a free afternoon and we just want to sell some lemonade.
Yeah, $5 a cup.
This is our show, Fix It, where every week Adam and I take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just made a wish and lost its powers, and we fix it. And this week, we are going to be fixing I want to say it was 2020?
Technically.
Dude, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Anything that came out during the pandemic, it's all mushed into 1 year.
Oh, yeah. I believe it was originally supposed to come out summer of 2020, but then, of course, movies weren't happening, so it got pushed back. And then
I want to say it's 2021?
I want to say the end of I think it was Christmas 21 when it came out.
Okay. Well,
because it kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. It was like, we're never getting out of this. Let's just put it on HBO Max.
Yeah, the 2021 feature, Wonder Woman 1984.
Hey gentlemen, producer Brian here. Sure, I'm a little earlier than expected, but here I am. So, Wonder Woman 84 came out December 25th, 2020 in the US. It was streaming on HBO Max and had a release in theaters for whatever theaters were open at the time. Originally, the movie was supposed to come out December 13th, 2019. Then it was actually moved to November of 2019. Then it was pushed back to multiple dates in 2020 before landing on that December 25th, 2020 date. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
The sequel to the hugely celebrated Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, a great movie.
A movie that all of us were very excited for.
Yes.
A movie that even from just looking at the view counts from our trailer reactions to it, even though we accidentally did it twice because they released the same trailer twice.
They did.
They really did.
It's one of our
that.
funniest videos, though.
Yeah,
because halfway through we realize it's the same trailer.
But those videos did. I mean, we made two of them, and they both did very well. People were really excited for this movie, and then I would think that the industry at large would blame the release situation, would blame the pandemic for this movie not doing that well. And I think the long or the short of it is that this movie just didn't do the thing properly.
It was the script, Jay.
Yes.
It wasn't the pandemic's fault. It wasn't any of the actors' fault. It's a great cast.
It's a great cast.
The script was really bad, Jay.
Yeah.
It's a terrible script.
I did my watch along once again with the Preview Discord server. Every week we do a Discord movie watch along with whatever we're fixing the next week because I gotta watch it and I might as well do it with y'all. If you guys are not part of the Preview Discord community, if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link below, and if you are on any of the podcatchers, the link is in the description. Join the Discord server. It's where all the peaches hang out. It's a lot of really, really cool people talking about really, really cool stuff.
Or fun cool people.
That
Talking
too.
about fun cool
No,
stuff.
I'm rebranding it.
Oh, just cool. They're
Definitely
no
doing
longer
that.
fun. You hear that, people? You're no longer fun.
But I watched it with the Peaches, and the thing that really kept coming up over and over again in the watch along was I don't fundamentally understand what's going on,
Yep.
and that is a very scary place for a movie to exist in, especially when it's a superhero movie. When usually the plots in these are pretty cut and dry,
Well, they're supposed to be.
but like the amount of times where it was just like, so how does this work? It was like this movie fell into the realm of I'm questioning the reality of what's going on.
Yeah. What are the rules here?
What are the rules here?
We don't know what the rules are.
Exactly.
At no point do we ever know what the rules of the game are, Jay.
And what's frustrating is that I think the movie makers understand, but they just don't communicate to us as an audience what any of it actually means.
Nope.
And it all comes down to Maxwell Lord, played by Space and Mushroom Daddy, Pedro Pascal, who I think gives a very good performance.
Yes.
But it gets to a situation where he wishes himself to be the wishing stone, and then that's where the wheels fall off, because we don't really understand.
Well, we didn't even know what he had in his hand yet.
We don't fundamentally understand what he's capable of,
No.
and it doesn't really make a ton of sense.
It doesn't.
And his for me, what it came down to was like he got himself to be rich and successful, and that's what he always wanted. And then I don't know why he's getting to a point where he is wishing the world into a state of utter disarray. When it was like, you just want to be on top. Why are you getting this to a point where there's going to be a nuclear disaster, sir? I understand that maybe like, things got out of hand and there's a commentary on greed is good, but like there's also a self-preservation to the concept of greed is good that I find completely like loses the plot.
I wish I had answers for you, Jay. Neither do I nor the movie have any for you.
We got a lot of really good performances out of this. I think we can both agree that Gal Gadot her Wonder Woman is like one of the better superhero castings we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I think she's awesome.
She is awesome.
And she also does a good job of being Diana as well.
She does do a good job of being Diana. Just the script was bad.
But if anything, the biggest sin of this Wonder Woman movie is that she's barely Wonder Woman in it.
Yes, she is.
They run around, her and Steve running around.
I'm sorry, who? That's not Steve.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Okay. We got it. We have to get into the actual structure of the show because
we have structure of the show, Jay. What are the rules of this podcast, Jay? Well, I do know those. The rules of the podcast state that I must now ask you before we get any further into discussing the movie, Jay, how you doing?
I'm a mixed bag right now, man. I'm a mixed bag. I unfortunately
Like a trail mix?
Yeah, I'm like a trail mix, but some of the pieces aren't food.
Oh no!
Like, why is there like there's nuts and bolts in here? Why is there like yummy M&Ms and
bag of glass?
pecans.
Yum.
I'm pretty sure this is like one of those like little like it's like a little Bratz doll head. Why is this in here? There's a lot of random there's flotsam and jetsam. But I seem to have caught whatever Kimberly had 2 weeks ago, and it's just kind of been kicking my butt left and right, which is frustrating. But also, like, if anything, it's like it makes me upset. Being sick sucks, of course, but it's like just it forces me to get off the wheel. And the only thing worse than like being sick is like having to like get back on the wheel.
Sure.
While still kind of like like yesterday, like we just had 2 videos to make, and I was like, I'm playing hurt. I was like, we have to. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only way it's gonna work out. Fortunately, the Peaches were really understanding of some things coming out late. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. All the kind words and tweets were really, really kind. But other than that, like, life's good. I mean, like, I felt a baby kick a couple of times.
Oh, you did?
which is both simultaneously really exciting, but also, like, kind of weird and body horror-esque. You know what I mean?
Yes, Jay.
That's
like where my head goes immediately. It's just body horror.
It's the miracle of life, and it's like that's my child.
Yeah.
That's like what an amazing blessing. What a wonderful miracle this is. But also like I've seen Alien. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, Jay.
So it's kind of it's definitely a mixed bag. But Kimberly's being such a trooper, and she's getting an A+ at being pregnant. And
Wait, is she allowed to know that though?
no, I don't tell her.
Jay, don't tell her that. You tell that afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let
she's
her know that
doing
you got to
great.
grade the test.
I'm
It's going to take you a while to grade the test. I got my red pen. So
Yeah.
just as a heads up.
I'm really proud of her. She's doing a good job. She's relatively keeping it together.
Relatively?
Considering the magnitude of what it is,
Sure.
she's doing great.
Okay, great.
Like, and that's the thing I have to keep reminding her. She gets down on herself sometimes. I'm like, you are building a soul. You are doing the closest thing we have to a miracle.
It's magic.
Like, it's the closest thing
Yes.
we have. So, like, cut yourself a little bit of slack. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, but also, that's been another part, like, being frustrated about being sick is that, like, like, I feel bad complaining to Kimberly because she's like, well, I had this 2 weeks ago and I was pregnant while I also had this. And I was like, you
So
win.
suck it up, nerd.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it. You win. You win. You always will win. And I was like, yeah. And then the baby will come and then you won't win anymore. She's like, no, I'll still win.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
still
the mom.
win.
Yep.
I win. She's like, I don't think you understand how this works. I win forever. And I was like, okay.
You've
Cool.
given up all leverage.
Yeah, but I am very gracious for the people having patience for me in my life, including you. Thank you for being a good buddy.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I feel like I let you down a lot, but I appreciate you being patient with me.
It's an hourglass, and the sand does run out. But the good thing about an hourglass, you can turn it back over. So it's all good.
Yeah.
We're
But
getting there. We only got one more Last of Us.
yeah.
And then it's just Wednesdays.
Yeah. And then yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. No. Here's the thing.
Oh, whoa.
And the point, and the thing is that what frustrates me is that the point that you made, I actually agree with.
Yes.
But you can't. You have a dichotomy
Ooh.
about Last of Us going away.
Sure.
And the scope of what we have to make YouTube wise kind of narrows a little bit.
Okay.
Because you're like, man, we're gonna have a little bit more free time. It's things are gonna chill out a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit chiller. Yada yada. I'm like, isn't that gonna be great? I think we're both really need that. Yada yada yada. And then on the other hand, you're like, okay, we're gonna have a meeting about what we're gonna do since we don't have as much stuff to make. It's like, awesome. We're gonna do this. And I was like, the hours are filling back up.
Yes.
There's no.
Okay, we're gonna have a good jump today. Make sure everyone's got your jump, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is for a little inside baseball for the peaches at home. Mondays, it turns out, are really, really important to us.
I hate.
The schedule that we have worked out for us, that we have kind of found ourselves into the past year or so, having Monday available to just
So
not
we can
shoot.
just wrap our heads around what we have to do.
That we can just do some office work.
It's a big,
do some Discord stuff.
even
do
it's
some
not
social
even-
media stuff. Just do tippy tappy on the
All
tap.
the work stuff-
Tippy tappity.
all the work stuff aside. I think for me, it's just like having it's like the calm before the storm.
Yes.
It's like, okay. It's for me. It's not even about having to like the time to get all the other stuff done. That's great.
Yeah.
I just like have a moment where it's like Kimberly's not here. I can just sit and
she's
be
not
like,
on
I can look
Mondays?
at my calendar and be like, cool. Here's how we're gonna execute this week. But like, man, yeah, having those Mondays like as a shoot day, really,
Yeah.
really,
Because
have been-
Tuesday we have, you stream at night. It's usually Mario Party. Wednesday's always been a Disney thing. And Thursday, sometimes it's free, but sometimes we have to do something on a Thursday.
Thursday's usually filler.
Yeah.
Like we just do whatever we need to do.
Friday's the podcast.
Yeah.
And then Jackbox with the Peaches or Fall Guys.
And then
KB
Kitchen at Best Friends.
And then
And then
so like
Monday
there's little,
starts
there's
again,
little
and then it's
things
like,
every
it
day.
just
So like
doesn't-
Monday has been that island of just like we don't have to actually shoot anything
It's
today.
the only-
We can just think and figure stuff out.
But also, Last of Us has been very good for the channel.
Oh, it's
so I can't.
fantastic.
So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to sit here and be mad.
Oh no!
But,
But
like-
it's nice to have that free mental space.
I've been a little
spot
run
show
down. I mean,
yes, because we haven't had our Mondays.
That's why I got sick. I think.
Damn it, HBO! Can't you just put out all these amazing shows like on a Thursday night instead of Sunday?
And I know there's a lot of people in the comments that are like, actually it comes out Sunday night, so technically shouldn't you be doing it Sunday? Shut up, Craig.
It's too late,
Shut
Greg.
up, Craig. Apparently...
The Zilla Beast is actually part of season 1, episode 12 of Clone Wars. Thank you. I believe you. I appreciate the backup.
I believe you. Here's all the facts about Transformers Beast Wars you didn't know. Thanks, guys. Thanks. I'm not going to apologize for not knowing all of their names.
The Transformer Beast Wars?
Oh, man, those comments lit us up.
Oh, really?
Because we just didn't know everybody and didn't know all the right terms.
Oh, I couldn't. I
couldn't
tell you any. Yeah.
Exactly.
Optimus Primal.
I remember enjoying that show. Can that be enough?
Jay!
Can that be enough?
Recite chapter and verse
We are not the smart ones.
No, we're not.
We're not the smart
we're
ones.
The fun ones.
We've never been the smart ones. Come on. Anyways. So yeah, I'm great. You know?
Yep, you are. I'm great.
I'm great. I'm great, man. I'm great.
Great.
All right, so Wonder Woman.
Okay, let's actually let us get in to Wonder Woman 1984.
For those of you who maybe have not are listening to this podcast and have not watched Wonder Woman 1984, Adam, in our new favorite segment, why don't you fill in the people who maybe need a refresher on Wonder Woman 1984 in our new segment, Plot Drop.
You know, Brian actually made a thing.
I know,
right?
but it's fun. It's fun to have you get a bunch of different flavors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Give them that plot drop.
Nope. I'm returning that to the kitchen, please. No, thank you. I didn't order that.
Oi, give them that plot drop. Stepping time. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, just, we're workshopping new stuff.
Old-timey British,
You know?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
The plot drop. You better start this plot drop or I'm going to just keep throwing takes.
Here we go.
All
it's
right.
1984, so like 70-ish years since World War I.
Okay.
Just about 70 years. Wonder Woman, Diana, has been Wonder Womaning throughout time. We don't know exactly what she's been doing, but she's apparently been Wonder Womaning a little bit here and there. But she works for the Smithsonian Institute in D.C., and she's got a new colleague. Her name's Barbara Minerva, who will eventually be Cheetah. She's from the comics. And they get some stone that they think is some tchotchke, some fake thing. But it turns out it's a wishing stone that grants somebody a wish. But we don't know the rules of the stone, so we don't really know what's going on in the story. But people start making wishes, and they start coming true. And Steve, because Diana wishes Steve was back, because she hasn't gotten over him after 70 years. And so Steve's soul inhabits another guy's body. And that's a whole thing.
We'll talk about that momentarily.
We're going to talk about that in a second. It's kind of weird. And then, of course, Barbara wishes she was more like Diana, because Diana's so sexy and so cool and so confident and just like smart and everything, unbeknownst to her that she's actually Wonder Woman. And then Pedro Pascal's there, and he's Maxwell Lord from the comics, but he's not like the comic character at all. And he wants the wishing stone because he somehow knew about it and wishes to be the wishing stone. And he has wishing powers. Again, we don't know the rules behind, so we don't really understand what's going on, but he starts making everyone's wish come true, or like trying to lead them down the wishing path to get them to wish for a thing, and then takes whatever he wants from them. I don't know, the whole movie is basically like, hey, lies are bad, everyone should believe in the truth, because the truth is way better than living a life of a lie.
Yeah.
But they were trying to go about that moral story through how wishes are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, eventually, Max gets the entire world to like start wishing for things, so he has ultimate power, and then the world's gonna explode, and then Diana has a speech that somehow also gets...
Because the lasso of truth is around his leg.
I don't know, but he wasn't in front of the cameras anymore. She somehow has a speech in the room with Pedro Pascal that somehow gets broadcast to everyone on the planet, and then somehow but her speech, which really wasn't well written, somehow gets everybody on the planet to then like what was it? I renounce my wish. Everyone renounces their wish on the planet, which is bullcrap. And then a crisis all averted. But I think like everyone still remembered what just happened.
Yeah.
But everything's back to normal, I guess. And then she just goes back on Wonder Womaning until she runs into the Justice League 30 years later.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great. It's actually kind of bad. On rewatching, I was like, oh, this is worse than I remember.
I'm going to be honest. I was really rooting for this movie. I wanted this movie to be good because I liked the first Wonder Woman, and I think it may be one of the better like DC outings.
Oh,
and it was kind of the shining. It was kind of the shining beacon of like DC can work.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it can work like that, and honestly, I would say Aquaman as well.
Sure.
Like those movies, I was
and
like
Shazam. This was the first movie of it was Wonder Woman, then Shazam, then Aquaman. But like it was like, oh crap, this movie. Because remember, it was like it was really good, and then when she walks across No Man's Land and the cello hits,
yeah,
and it was like, oh, whoa,
it's good.
That's so
it's
good.
It's real good.
It was so good that even the third act fight with Ares is like, this isn't. Well, it's okay. This is kind of standard superhero fare. This isn't the best, but like everything was so good before it. Like you know what? We don't really care. This is fun. The cello was only used in 84 for like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Towards the last fight. Not when she was even fighting Cheetah. I think it was just when she was fighting the goons with guns with the cool Kingdom Come outfit for a hot second.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then they never used her theme again. It doesn't show up anywhere else in the movie, which is just that theme song. She's got one of the best superhero theme songs of all time. Like up there with this original Superman, original Batman.
It's really good.
Yeah, I can't think of another one.
Because it's like it evokes so much of the character, and it evokes so much of the backstory.
Yes.
It's just like it's extraordinarily evocative, and it just didn't really.
It wasn't there.
But also, there's a lot of like development of character in this that just like we spend so much time with Maxwell Lord in this movie, and we they're in the like after the first like Wonder Woman sequence in the mall.
Yes.
We don't see Wonder Woman again until like an hour.
Yeah.
After that,
when they're the car chase scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're to believe that she's slowly losing her powers, even though everyone else's side effects are drastic and real and apparent pretty much immediately.
Are they?
Or slowly, but quicker than what I would be like quicker than I would like be led to believe than what's happening with Wonder Woman, and that I have to be explained that she's losing her powers, and it's because it's not apparent. The one time where it's like she slips off the lasso, and while she's grabbing those kids,
those dolls,
she's like, "Oh, I'm losing my powers." I was like, or just the rope slipped.
Yeah,
like I would believe that too. Like it's not.
It seems like a slippery rope. Yeah,
you've been telling me all of this stuff and haven't been showing me any of it, and. They just don't develop they don't develop the right things in this movie.
They don't
at all.
Well, at the beginning of this movie it takes place on Themyscira at some point in the past. Diana's still a kid because they wanted to have kid Diana back because that actress was adorable and cute, and like we liked Themyscira. She was a
little cutie.
So they do a Ninja Warrior Themyscira, and it's a race, and Diana's winning. But she gets knocked off her horse. She's like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to win. My horse is long gone. How am I going to get through the course? And then she sees like an aqueduct or a slide or a sewer or whatever. She's like, well, I'm just going to slide down this thing and catch up to my horse. A smart move. She slides down the slide.
She doesn't hit the marker.
But she doesn't hit the marker. Catches up to her horse, continues the race, gets there first. And just as she's about to win, the lice lady who died in the first movie or whatever, pulls her away because you can't win because she was going to win off of a lie. And then she has this whole little speech about how lying is bad. You got to be truthful. Lies are bad. Truth good. But like, on rewatching the scene for a second time, Diana doesn't lie. No part of her being smart and sliding down the slide, but missing the marker was a lie. She just didn't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Which is not a lie. So the speech of like, oh, this is going to be the moral of the movie. Lies bad, truth good. Which makes sense for the times we're living in. Like, I get what you're going for. But this scene did not show that. This showed something else. So, like, if you set up a different scene of, like, Hippolyta having to deal with a couple of people with a disagreement and, like, trying to sniff out the lie and something of that, then sure. Diana learns a lesson about, always, trying to be truthful to yourself and truthful to the people around you, blah, 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 blah. But she just wanted to win a race because she was a kid.
Yeah.
And so the whole movie is set up on a bad premise because, like, yeah, you're right. Truth is good and lies are bad, but you didn't show that. And then you tried to later on when they're opening the book and like, oh, this is what's really going on. This stone it's been going, or these powers have been floating around for like 2 hours at this point, is actually this guy who was just like a name or reading off a thing. Like, okay, Lord of Lies, I guess.
Yeah. Whatever.
But like, and then Barbara goes like, but wishes aren't lies. No, I'm not. So you're kind of right, Barbara. Wishes kind of aren't lies. This is what is happening. And then Max has his speech, and then Diana has her speech at the end, and is like, yeah, again, you're right. Like, this has all turned out bad, but like, not everyone's gonna renounce their wish because like, some people, probably kids, are probably in really bad situations and probably just wish that they weren't in those bad situations anymore.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't just renounce their wish because Wonder Woman told them to.
Yeah.
So it's a bad setup for a movie, Jay.
Yeah, for me, it just breaks down to I just don't understand what I think the Maxwell Lord wishing himself to be the wishing stone is clever and interesting if you explain it properly, and you give me the consequences of what they've done. I feel like they keep telling me that the consequences, the monkey's paw of these wishes, is very, very bad, but I feel like the only one that actually shows me the consequences of their actions is Barbara.
Yeah.
But also you've lost your humanity. It's like, well, the only thing she did was kick the crap out of that guy who was harassing her on the street.
Yes.
So he didn't show,
to me, the first time seeing the movie, it was like when Barbara was like starting to get mean or whatever, it just seemed like a consequence of her like realizing what it was like to have confidence and feel attractive and get attention from people and like be strong enough to like handle her own business and like, be able to talk in front of a group and like be magnanimous and like be funny, like all the things she really wanted to be. And things like, well, her life is changing. She's not exactly used to being popular or having these skills. So, okay, sure. She's doing a couple of things that maybe weren't the most moral of things, but as you said in the movie, like, but she really didn't until the White House scene when she like falls, like she didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So like, how is she losing her humanity when we're not really? She just beat up a guy that was harassing her. And I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. Like, how dare you? That's not. Yeah, he gets that. I don't. Yeah, it was. You didn't. You showed the wrong thing, trying to get me to go along with a message that you're not. Your message and your visuals are not the same. They're not working in concert with each other. They're two separate tracks.
And I also just want to see Wonder Woman kicking butt. And it's look, Gal Gadot could make a burlap sack look like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like she just has like her physique. You can drape whatever you want on her fashion wise, and she looks fantabulous. And I would argue that Chris Pine keeps up with that.
Yeah, he's an attractive man.
But like, and that's great. And I actually like her portrayal of Diana.
Yes.
I think they've done a nice job with that.
Yeah.
But also like, hey guys. Like
yes.
Come on, like let's go. I want to see fight some stuff. Let's party.
When that cello, like of all the instruments to drop a beat on us,
yeah.
Who would have thought the cello would be a great one? Because when the cello drops, it's like, it's so on right now.
Yeah, it's so good.
You don't even know.
Well, it's like how in Mandalorian, it's like an alto recorder. Everyone's like, that's so amazing. Like, it's the dorkiest instrument you've ever seen. If you see someone actually play it, it's like, oh, so they made a saxophone out of a recorder? Oh no, you're going in a locker. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, but like, and that was, I would argue, the best part of the Snyder cut was all of the Wonder Woman stuff. When it's just like, oh, the recut of the bank scene was just like, no, she straight up bodies fools. And it's awesome.
And I believe he used the theme. I believe he used her theme in that.
1,000%. Yes, he did. But like, I want more of that.
Yes,
I want that.
Yes,
and this just
didn't deliver at
give
all.
us that at all.
No.
Anyways, I think we need to move into
the big elephant in the room.
Yeah, I think that's Brian. He's a big elephant.
Brian, how dare you?
Womp
Womp womp.
Before we move into our fixes, Brian, why don't you let us know about Wonder Woman 1984 and roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage.
Thank you, gentlemen. Producer Brian here, because today we're trying to fix 2020's Wonder Woman 1984. Directed by Patty Jenkins, written by Patty Jenkins, Jeff Johns, and David Callahan, this movie stars Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, Chris Pine, and of course, Gal Gadot. Yes, Gal Gadot. This movie had a budget of $200 million, and it made $169.6 million. Again, that has to do with the fact that it was released on streaming, HBO Max, the same day it was released in theaters, or at least whatever theaters were available at the time. Now, in 2020, this was the most watched direct-to-streaming movie, beating Hamilton. If you care, this movie has a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, and Adam, before I forget, the release date of DC movies is Wonder Woman 2017, Aquaman 2018, Shazam 2019. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen.
Great job, Brian.
Well done, Brian.
Brava.
You did it once again. That was hard because it was just a streaming movie at the end.
It sure
was. They were really trying for a theatrical release, but nope, it was not
Man,
in the cards for this movie.
Wasn't everybody trying to get...
Little did they know that Fast 9 would be the one that would get us back.
It was our first movie back.
It was.
It was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But before we get into our fixes, I think there's one hanging Chad that we have not mentioned.
Hanging Chad?
And I could feel you getting into it, and I was like, it's a tricky thing to talk about.
Yes. The Chris Pine stuff... Chris Pine, let's put it this way. Chris Pine should have just been Chris Pine. He should have not been another inside another dude.
The president's wish makes nukes appear that were not there beforehand.
Yeah.
There are so many wishes that just make things happen.
Yep.
And then for some reason, Diana's wish puts a dead man in another man. Why?
Yeah. Because it just complicated the situation. It didn't.
And everyone else sees him as that man. I was waiting for a scene in the movie where we're like, oh my God, Trent?
Yeah.
Like,
you're quantum leaping right now. You quantum leaped Chris Pine for no reason.
And it's a little fraught. It's a little weird.
Yeah, because if you think about it for a second, you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. It's not great. When it just could have been him showing up.
Yeah.
It just, that's the biggest sin of it. Was just like, I'm with you with all the wishes.
I think the only reason, well, there's one plot reason the complication works for the script is that, like, oh, we need to get to Cairo because Max is about to meet with, like, that guy from Balalia. And I was like, oh, but you don't have a passport, or, like, you don't, so, like, we need to somehow commandeer this fully fueled up jet from the Smithsonian, and then I'm going to turn invisible. Like, so, like, that was, oh, you can't get on a normal plane, so we'll have to use this plane. Oh, because of...
There is.
But, like, you could have just, like, you've been dead for 70 years, Steve.
There is no way that jet had enough fuel in it to fly to Egypt.
No, it didn't.
There's no way.
And back? No.
No. And you'd be like, oh, well, they refilled in Egypt. Where? Where?
It was invisible.
That was so stupid. But that sequence of them flying through the fireworks in the invisible jet, I was like... I can't be mad at this. This is
the way they did the invisible jet. Also, an interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea.
My father hid the island. I've been trying to figure out that trick. A good idea.
Honestly, it's the closest thing to an and people are like, "That's a little too easy," and I'm like, we wanted the invisible jet and we got it. So yeah.
Yep. So I'll end it with this. One good thing about this movie, It's not all bad. The one really good thing about this movie was after Diana renounces her wish and she learns to fly was
Yes.
a very, very good scene.
Yes.
It was very well done.
It's really good, but also kind of stupid. That's a large amount of this movie. A lot of it is like, this is kind of dumb. But
I mean, you
love
had
it.
70 years, Diana. You think, you're freaking Wonder Woman? It took you this long to figure out how to fly?
Yeah.
I feel like you're awesome. You're amazing.
I also don't believe that she would have more connections around doing what she was doing. And that goes into my fix a little bit.
Oh, you mean just like around the world and stuff, like just knowing people and having like a little...
I believe that like she could, like, she works at the Smithsonian. I believe that like she maybe has some pull.
Oh, I see what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, this movie definitely needs a fix. Jay, you're going first.
I am indeed going first.
So Jay, fix it.
Fix it. All right, here's my thesis statement for my fix for Wonder Woman.
All right.
1984. I am keeping it Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay.
I'm keeping the time frame. I think the set piece is really fun. I think it sets up enough time has passed, but it also gives us like a fun. It gives a little bit more fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The movie needed to be more fun.
Yeah. The opening is going to be the mall.
Okay.
But interstitched with her stopping this crime at the mall is going to be her kind of describing her time since World War One. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be interstitched with like her kicking butt and stuff like that. And we're getting and like in lower times, like it will be like flashbacks to like how she got here and like and Diana explaining like what like where we're at. Mm-hmm. And then it comes like as we get through that sequence, and she kind of saves the day, like the bad guys fall in the car like that.
Sure, yeah.
Which I actually liked that stunt in the movie because I was like, wow, the top of that car really collapsed good. I was like, that was a good stunt.
Yeah, it was a good stunt.
I was like,
yeah.
and that's 4 dudes. Like that would be really hard not to hurt somebody. Good job, everybody. Honestly, I've come to appreciate stunt work because of you more often because you notice it a lot more than I do, but I've started to pick it up more. And then we come to find out that her talking about, and then it talks about her losing Steve, and then it comes to that we see that it's Diana sitting at a kind of Grief Anonymous, like a grief support group.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And obviously, like some of the language is like coded and stuff like that.
So she doesn't give away that she's like immortal.
Yeah. It's but we find that she's at at the grief support group, and everyone's like, "Oh, thank you so much for sharing." Yada yada yada. Like you took there's some interesting liberties in there, and she's like, "Yeah, but this is anonymous, right?" And they're like, "Okay." But then we find that there is a new person comes to join Grief's Anonymous, and it's Barbara.
Okay.
Who comes to, and she's like, "Hey, I just moved into the neighborhood. I'm starting to work at the Smithsonian, and I heard that this was here. So, and we come to learn that Barbara has lost her sister.
Oh, okay.
And it's been a little bit tragic. And then that's where like the beginning of the friendship between Diana and Barbara starts at actually grief support group.
Okay.
And then through that, we see kind of their friendship blossoming, and then but we also see Barbara's first day at the Smithsonian, and she's kind of getting the tour of everything, and they pass by Diana's office, lights her off, and she's like, "Oh, Diana, I know her," and they're like, "No, you don't." No, she still is nerdy and kind of dorky.
Sure.
Like, obviously, like, not up to snuff. And they're like, "No, you don't." Like, she's a world-renowned, like, she's a laureate. Like, she comes and goes as she pleases. It's a kind of, like, we can't fire her because she reads languages that we haven't even comprehended yet. Like, she's the closest thing we have around here to like a god of this stuff. and they're like, "You don't." They were like, "That's cute." Ha 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 ha. Of course you know Diana. Yada yada yada. And so it comes to like Barbara figures out like, oh, okay, I know Diana's relationship with the Smithsonian here. And then we eventually see, we see a little bit more Wonder Womaning, but we start to get that she is helping people at the cost of her social life.
Sure.
Like, she's not showing up to work, obviously, but she's getting away with it. Like, she and Barbara, like, try to, like, meet up a bunch of times. Barbara's, like, trying to, like, hang out with her, but she's always, like, kind of bailing, or, like, in the middle of dinner, like, has to go. Like, it is very clearly, like,
She's Spider-Manning in this whole situation.
Spider-Man in the whole situation. And Barbara, like, finally gets mad and breaks into her office in off hours. And kind of starts going through her things to be like, what are you up to? Are you doing drugs? What are you doing? Oh. And I like the idea of she thinking it's drugs, and I like the idea because her sister like succumbed to addiction. So she thinks that it's addiction.
That's very good. Okay, great.
And so she's breaking in to be like, where I'm going to find your stash.
Yep.
Like
I'm going to help you.
It's not a suspicion in a mean way. It's a caring way.
Well, especially because she just lost her sister and she doesn't want to lose somebody else to the same thing. Absolutely.
And like she's showing up with bruises and stuff sometimes. Like it's obvious that like something's up. And then I think when she breaks into her office and kind of goes through and sees some of the pictures on mantles and stuff, like Barbara is also a very, very good like anthropologist.
Yes.
And starts going through stuff, and she figures out basically Barbara figures out that she's Wonder Woman.
Yes.
He's like, you've been playing it real coy and real cute and like trying to stay out of the papers, but like there have been enough descriptions of like what you are and what you've been wearing, and it is very clearly lining up with like these. Like Barbara has this whole like she basically like Barbara invites Diana over, and Barbara has like a whole like board.
Okay,
like,
guys.
Board.
Yeah.
I mean, like and like it's very cute and all. Like they have like a nice meal, and she's just like, I found out you're Wonder Woman, and Diana's like, she like kind of pushes her away.
Sure.
Like pushes Barbara away, and then she doesn't like tell her that she's wrong, but she was like, I am Wonder Woman. The fact that you know this is very dangerous, and you can't be a part of this. She was like, and Barbara's like the whole time, like, I've had someone push me out of their lives because they thought I wouldn't understand or couldn't handle it, and they're dead now. So you can't get rid of me. And Diana's like, I'm gonna have to. You have no idea. Like, I've been doing this for a very long time. I have a lot of enemies. I don't have time for friends, Barbara. And then, okay, so that's kind of like our first act.
Yes. That takes place in about a half hour.
Cool. Yeah. I apologize. I'm kind of like running out of like vocal stamina. Act 2, we have Diana gets like a message from Themyscira.
Oh.
And basically tying it into Justice League, she gets a message from Themyscira that the box that they have, the reality box that they have, like the situation, like the setup they have it is not safe enough, and like stuff has started like coming out of it, and like
like parademons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they need help containing it because where they have it is clearly not safe enough.
Okay.
So like they call out to Diana being like, "Hey, you need to come back and like cuz you're the one that like helped set this up the first time. You are going to have to like help us out here."
Sure.
So she has connections at the Smithsonian Aerospace. And she, while can make a jet invisible,
right?
But we have a Barbara that follows her and sneaks onto the plane that she steals.
Barbara.
So we have Barbara going along with Diana to Themyscira.
Sure.
And then Diana figuring out that Barbara is there, like as they're landing and being like, "Oh crap,
It's a good thing you're not a man.
You have no idea what you just walked into." Well, you know all those books about the island of the Amazon? Well, it's all real. Here we go. Like,
yes.
But I like the idea of, because you got to lean into your actor's strengths.
Yes.
Because I want to see Kristen Wiig pretend to be put on the garb and pretend to be an Amazon.
That's
like
funny.
Her strolling in,
that's
like,
funny.
"Hey everybody, what's up?" Posing with the
I'm
spear
also
and
really
stuff.
strong. Yep.
Yeah.
I coordinated. Watch me go.
Wee.
Yep. I'm gonna throw the spear. Ha ha.
And so we get to the palace. Barbara's found out, but she's with Diana, so and she's also a woman, so they're like, whatever, that's fine. Well, you're gonna have to just like pleasantly forget about this, or we'll kill you.
Oh yeah,
And
we'll
she's like,
find you.
excuse me. So they get the 411 on the box, and Wonder Woman goes to defeat like the demons that are coming out of it, and also like contain this thing. And they get it back, and they're like, we need to take this into like the deeper halls of our like halls of wonder. And Barbara's like, excuse me, halls of wonder, what? And they're like, oh, well, that's where we keep like all of our like most dangerous artifacts and things like that.
Yes.
And she's like, I would like to see all of that, please. Like, and they're like, well, you already know, you're already here. You might as well. I mean, it's very dangerous. Please don't touch anything. So like they're carrying this box like deeper into this. Like we're gonna have, and Diana the whole time is like, we're gonna have to get schematics for something a lot more drastic than what we had it in.
Yeah.
Which inevitably will lead to the sequence that we saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, of course. It's like, you know what happens like if these get together. And she's like, like the one in Atlantis is about as safe as it can be. And Barbara's like, Atlantis? Like, I'm sorry, what? And they approach, they pass a good amount of they're walking through like their halls of wonder, and you see like and Barbara's like, oh well, how do you find all of these things? And like the first device they pass is like it's a headdress, and it's called the Muse's Eye, or the Eye of the Muse. Sure. And it's like how you basically like find magic in the world.
Cool.
And it's like we use this like to kind of contain like God touched items.
Yeah.
And they inevitably pass our wishing stone. As they are, and they also pass a, forgive me, I cannot remember this name. They pass a shrine with several different like jewelry items, to the god, the cheetah god.
Yes,
Katarga.
Yes,
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Good enough.
I
was looking at that name a lot.
Oh, well, that's kind of like, as much as like Diana is a patron to her god, like this is another god that like it is a patron, but it almost like it's a little bit more of invasive and a little bit more of an apex predator. It's a dangerous deity to become your patron.
There's other pantheons out there. It's not just the Greek one.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And they're like, so the dangerous ones we try to contain the best we can, just because they hurt people.
Yep.
But they're very powerful.
Yep.
As they're moving past the wishing stone and they get that whole lowdown, I like the idea of the box freaking out again, and like more monsters coming out that need to be fought.
Sure.
But through the process of fighting these monsters, and this can be movie magic in the best way possible.
Okay.
But the stone gets knocked off, and Diana grabs it. And in this case, it's as we're walking past before all this goes down, it's explained that like the wishing stone doesn't necessarily require a like verbal wish. It knows your heart's desire.
Oh. And
it will grant if you are not strong enough in that moment, it will grant you that wish. She grabs it, and then she's like, everything's fine. Like puts it back, and they're like, oh, what happened when you touched the stone? And she knowingly is like, I don't know. She's like, everything's fine. She's like, I am Diana.
Yeah.
Like, I can touch that thing. They get the box secured, and it turns out that like everything's secured and everything's fine. But as Diana and Barbara come back to like where they're staying, Steve's just there for no reason. No explanation, but like, and it's the kind of thing where like Diana freaks out, and she's like, and all the Amazons are really upset and really pissed, and they know what happened. They're like, you touched the wishing stone. They're like, you need to renounce your wish. Like, you're not like, and she's like, I'm not going to renounce my wish. She was like, this is the one person that I wanted and needed in my life.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's all well and good, but we cannot allow you to leave the mascara with this wish. This magic cannot leave the veil.
Okay.
And she's like, fine, I will stay here. Steve, will you stay here with me? He's like, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
Anybody got any clothes though? Like I'm just kind of run around here naked.
Yeah.
Little help, please. Little help.
And then Barbara's like, well, okay, I need to go back, and she actually has cell service, which is a surprise of no one. But which surprises everyone. But she is basically getting calls from the Smithsonian because like Diana, she's like, I am on like a dig with Diana, and they're like, no, you're not. And like Diana finally gets on the horn.
Like a satellite phone?
A satellite phone.
Sorry,
sure.
I was like, wait a second, 84. Oh, wait, satellite phone. Sorry, I got you, buddy.
Yeah. It's 19. Oh, you're right. It's 1984. Satellite phone. Thank you very much. And they're like, if you like, that's fine if you're, but when you get back here, like, she has tenure. You do not. Like, you better come back here with something interesting. Or you're fired. And Barbara's feeling like really left out and really alone. And she's like, oh, well, my boat leaves. I'll be back in 2 days. She makes her way back, but not before breaking into, because she can kind of read the language and figure out how the doors work and stuff. She makes her way into the Hall of Wonders.
Yep.
And I mean, she's careful about it, but she takes the wishing stone with her.
Oh, okay.
She uses gloves. She doesn't actually touch it.
Sure.
Because she's smart. Takes the wishing stone, steals the wishing stone with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a transition into Diana and Steve, them working that out, and then finally, as Barbara makes her way back to DC, the wishing stone gets put on display. She was not expecting that to be the case.
Oh, just thought it would be just.
She was
like,
like, "This will
lost
be
in the back of
interesting.
the
We can
museum."
study this."
Yep.
She was like, "They'll put it away, and then I can probably sneak it back to Themyscira or whatever, just so they'll get off my case about it."
Yep.
Like it's relatively innocent. She's not trying to be. She's not trying to be
I
a
got
jerk.
you. Yep.
But she didn't have much of a choice because Diana's not coming back.
Right.
So it gets put on display, and the stone starts kind of gaining power, being around the amount of people that are looking at it.
Uh-oh.
And while you used to have to touch it, it's like starting to grant like smaller wishes just from people's thoughts.
Sure.
Like people are just like looking at it, and it's the kind of thing where Barbara's been keeping an eye on it and like trying to like remedy the things as they happen, but it starts to get out of hand. And it gets to a point where a kid who we see a sequence of a kid coming to the museum on a field trip. The teachers are giving him a hard time. The security guards are kind of hassling this kid a little bit. He's kind of like, and it gets to a point where he visibly, like, verbally says, like, man, I wish we didn't have any more rules. And then stuff starts breaking down.
Sure.
DC kind of goes completely haywire. Like, written law is gone. Barbara reaches out to Diana. It's time to come back. DC is completely fallen apart. We're under martial law. This is not great. Someone needs to come and help fix this. Like, you need to bring the eye of the muses.
Yep.
And figure out where this kid is that made this wish, so we can undo this, and then we need to get this back. And Diana, knowing now understanding, like, you took, like, no, I'm not coming back. And she gets mad because she stole the thing, and she's like, you're the one that's gonna, like, you did this on your own, you're gonna have to suffer the consequences. And
wow.
And it kind of like triggers in Barbara, like, oh great, like, if someone I viewed as a sister is again pushing me away in a way that's gonna lead to destruction, I need to take like moves into my own hands. And then we see her open her bag, and one of the necklaces from the shrine.
Yeah.
We didn't see her take it, but she pulls it out of her bag and puts it on, and is just like, hi, is anyone there? And then blackout, and we see a Barbara who's coming into these cheetah powers in a way that's fun to watch because it's Kristen.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart. Kristen Wiig. There we go.
A lot of mouth breathing in that scene.
Me too. But as she's trying to like fix things, she gets more and more severe.
Sure.
And then Diana gets called like to the Queen's chambers.
Hippolyta, yeah.
And is like, she's like, it is like, I can feel it. Like the cheetah has been released. Someone needs to go deal with this. And Diana's like, how is that my problem? She's like, you're the one that pushed her away. You're the one that wants to live in this fantasy realm. And you're the one that wants to just like exist in your own personal space. And you don't want to have to deal with anyone because you're not asking for anyone else for help. So why should they have to ask you for help? You just want you want to offer help in the most anonymous way possible, but you don't want to get anyone involved in anyone's lives. Well, you got involved in one person's life and you botched it. So you need to make the right call. She renounces her wish for Steve. And or I think she decides to leave, and like as she's like flying off, you just kind of see Steve and like the side passenger, like kind of his magic fade.
No.
And she has to say goodbye to him.
No amount of clapping will bring him back.
No amount of clapping will bring him back.
Aww.
She goes to DC. We get Wonder Woman like fighting Cheetah, and them kind of coming to terms with their friendship and things like that. She has the Eye of the Muses. They find the kid. He renounces his wish. Things go back to normal. They bring the stone back, but Barbara's gone.
Yep.
She's to the wind because Cheetah's too important in the Wonder Woman.
Yes.
But we set up. I think their final fight gets like settled in a place where she was just like I can't lose another sister. Like, but I don't see a way out of this. Like we can work together. And Wonder Woman was like, no. And she views it as a betrayal. And she's like, okay, if that's how you want to play it, that's fine. But I think you'll be changing your tune someday. And she's gone. So like we set Cheetah in a way that's like she's still around.
Yep.
She still exists. She's still at her heart a good person.
Yeah.
But we finally get a Wonder Woman that at the end of this movie, like after fighting Cheetah and like setting everything right, like basically after everything is settled and everything's fine, we have newscasters there, and instead of like taking off and like destroying the cameras that saw her, like you get a Diana who looks in a full Wonder Woman getup, who looks into the camera and just says, hello DC, like I'm Wonder Woman. I'm Wonder Woman and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Ta-da. Wonder Woman, 1984. Or if it's 1984, it's like, hi, I'm Wonder Woman. Cowabunga! You know?
She's the one that starts the craze. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I would like to greet you with an old Themysciran.
Yeah. That's good because my voice has completely run out of gas.
I gotcha. I had the baton. Huzzah. Good job. I mean, that was better than the movie.
Well, because we get Themyscira in there, we get like it world builds in a way. It deals with Justice League. It deals with
what also that makes this the stakes are smaller. They're big in that like the rules have gone away, but it's a child's wish that only one person wished. It's not everybody, but just one small errant wish that causes a lot of damage. That gets the same point across, but it's not like, well, nuclear war. We're gonna destroy the planet. No, it's just a kid.
Yeah.
It's easy to fix, but the stakes are high.
1000%.
I also said stakes.
I know.
Self-report.
I know.
Sir, self-reporting my stakes.
I know. I was gonna give it just like an extra beat, and then you hopped right back in there.
Self-reporting, sir. Stakes.
You don't get to say stakes. I get to say stakes.
Okay. So, given Jay's voice a rest, 'tis my turn. Gentle men and ladies. Okay. So, my thesis statement for my fix. It's not 84 anymore.
Okay,
We're
that's
switching
fine.
it to a different year.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable adjustment.
I am updating it. My movie is Wonder Woman 05.
Oh.
I'm changing it to 05.
Oh, so you're sticking to the year convention.
I'm going to stick to the year convention.
Interesting.
Because the year is important.
I think it is important. I think you're right.
Because these movies are a sequel, but before the events of Justice League and Batman and Superman and stuff like that, like this, it's important. If you're going to do it, then like
because also the first Wonder Woman was the first DC movie to be a period piece.
Yes.
Like Marvel has already done that to death.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, DC. I mean. Diana, her backstory being like, well, I've been around since World War I. And Bruce is like, where the hell have you been? We could have used you so many times over the
Exactly.
past 100 years.
And that's kind of what I was going with my fix too. It's like at some point you need to like reveal yourself.
yeah.
Like
What the hell, lady? So my movie, Wonder Woman, 2005. Since 84 was really, really bad and didn't do a good job of setting up Diana's slice of the pie. Like, Wonder Woman's she's one of the most famous comic book characters of all time.
Yeah.
Like, she's the part of the Holy Trinity at DC. But Wonder Woman's biggest weakness, she's got no bad guys.
None.
She has no
None.
villains.
They're all real bad.
They're all really
Cheetah's
bad.
the only good one.
Cheetah is the only good
the
one.
only good one.
But but she's got to be written correctly.
Yes.
And because you can tie, especially nowadays, like you can tie Cheetah directly to Diana or Barbara to Diana and make that actually like a relationship that's strained, that makes sense that they might be butting heads, but there's so much more going on there if the writers allow for it. Because they've rebooted the character so many
The
times.
first two were just ladies in suits.
They were just ladies in suits.
I was like, I don't know why that would be a problem for a Wonder Woman.
She should be, that
She
should
just
be
like
easy.
grabs them and punches them.
No, stop.
Nope.
Barbara was the first one with actual like superpowers. So I'm trying to actually have this movie set up Diana in more of a like, hey, Diana's important. She deals with a lot of divine things. It's not just the Greek gods. There's a lot of stuff here.
She is like an access point for a large amount, like a large piece of the DC pie.
Yes.
Yes.
But we didn't get that in the first movie. And we shouldn't have, because it's just like the origin story. Let's get her out in the world. You meet her. Now the second film, this is basically going to be Diana's Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, cool.
But setting up hey, there's a lot more from her part, Themyscira, Greek pantheon, other gods. Like, there's a lot of stuff here.
She's got to really, her past is hectic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good, bud.
that's my plan here, is to set up Cheetah, Barb, because it's the most important villain she's got.
I also think it's because she's so isolated. Giving her a friend who understands her. They may not obviously they come to blows, but someone who understands her is really necessary.
Yes.
Because you could say oh well, Clark understands her. I'm like, not really. Not really. If anything, Diana is so tied to human history, whereas Clark is an alien.
He's only been here for 30 years.
Yeah, he
Diana's
can
immortal.
understand the isolation of it, but
Yeah.
she's like, you have the powers of a god. I am one. It's different.
So, you'll see also Steve's not in this. Steve is gone. He's Chris Pine. I love the guy, but he's not in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Act 1 starts with a young girl. It's Barbara. She's probably around 8 years old or whatever. She's reading the Odyssey.
Oh, cool.
And she's reading out loud and to herself, and specifically the part where Odysseus is saving his men from the witch that turned him into pigs on that one island.
Yes.
And then her father comes in and wishes her good night.
Calliope, I think that's the part of the story, if I remember correctly.
You're close. So her dad comes in, and she's like, "Oh, I love you, Daddy. This is fun." She's like, "Read the Odyssey again." Like, "Yeah, you know how much I love it." It's like, "Oh, this is great." She's like, "One day I want to grow up and I want to learn about, I love mythology and I'm going to find all the proof of the gods and all kinds of stuff." She's a kid, and your dad's like, "Of course you will.
Heck yeah.
Hard work, determination, teamwork, friendship. Yeah, of course you can achieve your dreams. I love you, honey." She's like, "Hey, thank you, yay!"
I appreciate that. I am happy that both of us just decided that the best part of this movie should be Barbara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we need a new entry point.
1,000%.
We need an audience surrogate.
Yeah.
And in the second movie,
it's not
Diana.
I need in the third movie for Wonder Woman to be in dire straits and for us to see a shadow just dart and start taking out a bunch of dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I need that. I want them to be like enemies, and then in the third movie when she turns around and they fight together, it's just like, oh, so good, I love it. Oh yeah.
So Barbara, her father is very supportive, and she's like, "Yes, you're going to achieve your dreams, mythology, proof of the gods. You're going to be great." So we have an opening montage here. We're going to flash forward through Barbara's life as she goes to school and college, getting good grades and presenting reports on mythology. But in doing so, we're also going to see some of the downsides of that. Like, she gets picked on, she gets bullied for being kind of a book nerd and stuff like that. But she loves this stuff. She's very knowledgeable about mythology. Also, she's been keeping a scrapbook of stories about a mysterious woman doing incredible things since somehow around 1920s. Yeah. And through her scrapbook, we're going to see a little montage of the things Diana's been up to.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Through Barbara's scrapbook.
Hell yeah, that's good.
So like little montages of, we're going to flash into the thing.
That's
we'll
a
see
very
Diana
good device. I like that
beating
a lot.
up somebody here, beating someone up in the 40s. Maybe she had to have been involved somewhere in World War II. Just something small. She just does something, right? So we see all this stuff. We see Barbara grow up. And she's, gets out of college and she's ready to start her life. And then...
Oh, you know how she's involved in World War II? She's probably in the Pacific Theater because she doesn't want people to...
Yeah.
Like, she's like, we need to end the like, if there's too much maritime exploration, that, like, they might run into Themyscira and we just, like, can't have that. Like, we had too many... Like, we can't have another Steve situation.
That's a good one. Okay, so basically this leads all, through the scrapbook, we lead up to the present, which is 2005. Much like the mall scene in 84, we're going to have a similar scene to that. The Intergang, remember Intergang? Intergang was in Black Adam, but also they are a known DC Universe gang of bad guys.
Sure.
But Intergang has taken a Balalian ambassador's daughter hostage.
Okay.
And Balalia was the country that was in Wonder Woman 84. When the guy made the wish and the wall came up.
Yes.
Balalia, but is another one of those Middle Eastern random countries that we just don't want to use a real one, so we made Balalia up.
Oh, I see.
So, that basically that. So they took
Is
Intergang...
that technically, like, comic book accurate? Is that a place they ever go?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
cool. Next door to Kahndaq.
Oh, okay.
I believe. The Intergang takes a Balalian ambassador's daughter hostage, and in a scene very much like Batman in the warehouse from... Superman versus Batman, or Wonder Woman in the Justice League film with the bank guys, she bodies the Intergang.
Yeah.
But not like the cutesy, throwing a kid into a teddy bear. She wrecks these guys more Justice League style, and it's awesome. But so afterwards, we see, there's cops outside. I mean, there's some press outside as well. And as we see the press coverage of the aftermath of Diana saving the ambassador's daughter, we move through the television into Barbara's office, who was watching the coverage of it, and she goes, there she is again. And she goes to enter in something to her scrapbook of the mysterious woman is still here. So and we turn as we pan out, it's Barbara's office in the Smithsonian.
Okay, cool.
She's been working there for a week. So she's still new. And then Diana shows up a little late for work, just kind of doing her thing or whatever, and then bumps into Barbara. There's a similar kind of scene where in from the original movie of them kind of introducing each other, but kind of saying that they're kind of awkward, but Diana's super nice and kind and patient with her. But Barbara's all I've only been here a week, and this is so nice. It's nice to meet you. Blah 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 blah. All that kind of stuff. They're going over tchotchkes and other weird things, just doing work stuff.
Because she has Diana has to be a famous scientist if that's how you're going to structure it, because she's been around so long and she knows so much stuff. Mm-hmm. There's no way she wouldn't be amazing at it. It would just fall into her lap.
Yeah.
It has to she has to be as famous as Wonder Woman as an anthropologist, just because she's immortal.
Yeah.
There's just no way around.
I mean, she's hiding the fact she's immortal, but she's very knowledgeable and very personable. So a lot of people know her. But they meet. They're I'm so awkward and adorable, but I just new here. It's nice to finally meet you. And blah blah. Oh, we're going to the same place because we're both working on different things, and isn't this fun? And blah blah blah. And they're and Diana's just being kind and nice because Barbara's a nice person. And then as they're hit an awkward moment when they're just kind of looking at relics and stuff like that, a high-ranking army officer comes in with a briefcase and says, "We found something in the deserts of Iraq." Because remember, the war is going on right now. It's 2005.
Okay.
And we need you, Diana Prince, to look at something. We think we found something, and somebody ordered us to get you to take a look at it. So they open up the thing, and it's like a pottery shard or something like that. And Diana clocks it as an old dialect of ancient Greece. That's kind of like the language of the gods of the Greek pantheon. So Diana knows what it is immediately,
but she can't let anyone know that because it's it is obviously a dialect that no one should know.
But so does Barbara. So Barbara can read it too, and Diana's how do you know that? Barbara's really good at her job.
Yeah.
She's a book nerd.
Okay.
She went to college. Like, she's the research nerd.
I like the idea of her. She's like, I got like 3 PhDs. Like, my parents really did not want me to get the 3rd one.
But I got their money's worth.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, we're here. So Diana's like, holy crap. So, like, they start hanging out a little bit more. They go to dinner and they have like they do in the movie. They go out to dinner.
Did we just become best friends? Yeah,
yes.
That moment. Okay.
They like, whoa, we actually do have a lot in common. But Diana's, of course, keeping that she's Wonder Woman on the DL.
Of course.
But Barbara's just like, just like, my life story. I love mythology. I've been doing this for years. All the just blah 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 blah, all this stuff. But it turns out, the next day they after they bond. And they bond at dinner, and they have a very similar scene where Barbara's walking home, but she gets slightly accosted by a guy, and then we see Diana come up. We see a little bit more of her like just kind of bat the guy away, and not just like away,
just poof. Yeah.
It's like no. She actually like. We see her defend Barbara, and she's like, "How did you do that?" Oh, I just took some classes, blah blah. Keeping stuff on the DL. But like, Barbara's like,
you only get like 2 notes of the
yeah, yeah. So the next day,
just a little squig'em, just a little squig'em.
So the next day they're discussing stuff, and it turns out that on the shard that they looked at the day before was actually the beginning of a poem that mentioned the firstborn. Now, pause. The Firstborn is a DC comic character that came about when the New 52 started and they revamped everything.
Yes.
I forget the artist's name, but I read Wonder Woman's run after the New 52 was like one of the best runs I've ever read. It was, for 50 issues, it was amazing because she was just dealing with the Greek pantheon, and it was really freaking cool, and they had a lot of really cool designs for all these different gods.
Yeah.
One of the bad guys in it was called the Firstborn, which was Zeus and Hera's firstborn child, who like a prophecy came out and was like, he will one day, rule over all of the pantheons and destroy, obviously, the Greek pantheon in doing so. So they're like, nope, bye, and got rid of him, and eventually gets locked away. So a really strong, powerful god that got locked away a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's in the comics. So, but now they read a shard like, oh no, the Firstborn, and there's like, oh, that's a myth of a myth. That's a deep, deep cut.
Yes.
Oh, that's bad news. But it's all myth. It's all crazy. But just a relic. But the army officer comes back the next day and is like, ladies, since both of you can read this language, we would like you to come to basically the battlefront to find out because we found the site while we were doing war things. We need to find out if there is a
war things.
Oh, it was. And we need to find out if there's a threat out here besides, all the other stuff we're worrying about. So Barbara and Diana leave to go to Iraq.
Sure.
For the war. So now Act 2 is basically like the second act of Aquaman, where remember Aquaman and Mera go out on we're going on an adventure to find, go from one point to B point to find all the things and do the stuff.
Yeah.
That's basically what happens through all of Act 2.
We get Indiana Jones map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Barbara and Diana go on an adventure trying to find this tomb of the Firstborn.
It's a really, really good device that they used in Indiana Jones to get a lot of plot out quickly in a fun way. And then I just feel like no one has ever really utilized it as well since. Mm-hmm. And it's such an interesting device. Mm-hmm. And as an audience member, every time that would happen, I'd be like, oh, this is so fun. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
good. So
this
does a couple things. One, Barbara and Diana are bonding.
Yeah.
Over it, of course. Diana is trying to do her best Clark Kent impression by not giving away that she is Wonder Woman through all this stuff. But they're tomb raiding. They're bumping up against Intergang because Intergang kidnapped the Balalian ambassador's daughter for a reason back in Act 1.
Yeah.
So they're doing traps. They fight like a mini boss at some point. But of course Diana does decently well of hiding the fact she's Wonder Woman for a little while, but eventually Barbara's super smart and knows mythology and clocks it eventually. Is like, wait a second, you're the mysterious woman who's been doing all these amazing things over there. And she's like, oh, crap.
I really like the idea of them reading on a wall about talking about something that she did. and maybe Barbara clocks it on her face and like gets to a point where like there's just like a painting of her, and it's like, you're her, aren't you? And then I think Diana's like, yeah, I like that a lot. She figures it out through context clues, not necessarily like clues from her.
Right.
Yeah.
Barbara figures it out. And so now Barbara's just like, you gotta tell me everything. Oh, so like once again, Barbara's our audience surrogate, and so Diana explains more about the divine world of like Themyscira, because like they're friends now. Themyscira, the gods, the pantheon.
If I'm writing that scene, I have Kristen Wiig being like, with her scrapbook open, being like, "This is you." She's like, "Yeah, shut up." Like, "Is this you?" "Yeah, shut up."
How? What? Shut up.
And Diana's like, "I will tell you about these things." She's like, "No, shut up."
So it's really, they have, Act 2 is fun. Diana, they are best friends.
Yes.
They get to the point where like Diana, like really this is the relationship of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not Steve.
It's a buddy cop movie.
Yes. It's Diana and Barbara becoming best friends.
Yeah.
Trying to find the Tomb of the Lost Son, or the Firstborn, whatever. So while this is going on, the army commander, the guy who was over in charge of the unit that asked him to come over there, starts becoming a little bit more and more erratic in his behavior of just like, he's trying to really press them to like find this tomb because like his soldiers, for army reasons and war stuff.
It becomes apparent that it's not just about
something. Yeah, they're clocking that something's not right here, right? This is getting kind of, something's like that moment in She-Hulk in the last episode. She's like, wait a second, is this working for everybody? How did Bruce come back? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So eventually they're kind of clocking something. They do eventually find the tomb at the end of Act 2. And then just as like the army guy shows up with a bunch of like, troops and like, something's not right here. And the guy's like, you need to open up that tomb right now. And Barbara's like, Diana, you can't open that tomb. You can't open that tomb. And then out of nowhere, one of the army commander's female assistants just pushes her way through the crowd and just steps in front of the commander and says, hey, Diana, I need you to open up that tomb right now. And she's like, I'm sorry, do I know you? She's like, oh, Shimmer, magical girl transformation. It's the witch Circe.
Oh, okay.
Which of all of Diana's other bad guys, Circe...
Yeah, Circe's pretty good.
Is one of the major ones.
Yes.
Circe was also the person that...
turned all the dudes into pigs in the Odyssey. Yes.
From the beginning.
Yeah. And there's Calliope. I clocked that wrong.
It's all good. So, Circe's like, yeah, I know. You need to open that tomb right now, or I'm going to turn like all these dudes into pigs and all sorts of other things. So,
yeah,
you better open it up, or I'm going to torture all these guys. What's it going to be, Diana? And she's like, why you do it? Why? Just you better do it. Barbara's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Dan's like, I don't have a choice. These men are under her control right now. That's not their fault. Okay, so Diana opens the tomb of the firstborn. So Diana tries to talk to this guy. Is like, hi, I'm technically your half-sister? I know it's been like millennia. Are you okay? But tries to do, but Diana tries.
Have you thought about casting for this part?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Of the firstborn?
Yeah, just curious.
Oh, he might be CG.
He's a big old.
He's a big old beefcake.
I gotcha. He's like Stretch Armstrong kind of situation.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's a judge. So Diana tries diplomacy. It doesn't work. And so they fight. And Diana is getting her butt rocked. This guy is no joke. He is kicking her butt. And so while this is going on, Circe just floats over to Barbara and is like, hey, would you like to help her? It seems like your best friend's in trouble. Do you want to become a god? Do you want to fulfill your dream? And Barbara's like, I shouldn't. But she looks over at Diana. She's going to die.
Yeah.
So Barbara accepts the offer from Circe, and through Circe's
good.
Through Circe's patron, which is Hecate, I believe is how you pronounce it. Grants her the power to become the goddess of the hunt, which is Cheetah.
All right, party.
And so Barbara turns into Cheetah.
Yeah.
And so Cheetah and Wonder Woman.
That is a perfect MCUing of what Cheetah, you know what I'm saying? That's very good. That's like, if you're going to change, like, you could, like, the MCU changes a lot of origin stories, but it's so logical and it fits so well into the...
You got to dumb it down and make it easier, because this is a movie, not a comic book.
But also you also got to thread the needle. Mm-hmm. Like, it's got to click in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do got to dumb it down just a little bit. I think
because also, Cersei likes changing people into animals.
Yeah.
So like
1000%.
When I read that in Wikipedia, like, oh my, of course, it usually gets to do most of the 99.9% of the times it's men, but like, why not a woman?
No, I think that's pretty elegant.
So
like
Barbara accepts the offer and through Hecate becomes the goddess of the hunt, Cheetah, and like kind of immediately she's like, what the whoa. So Barbara, wary, but I'm imbued with godly powers. Let's go. So with, by the way, the fight with the firstborns that like moved out of the temple or whatever is now like kind of out in the boot. So Barbara goes to help Diana, who is like, what did Cersei do to you? It's like, there's no time. You're in trouble. I came to help my best friend. And so they work together to defeat the firstborn and get him back in the tomb. But the firstborn, of course, was just the mini boss.
Ah, crap. He's got a second phase?
No. The second phase of the fight now
He's going to grow a single wing and have a huge sword.
The chorus just comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, man.
Beans.
No, sorry, it's a Greek chorus. Sorry, it's a Greek chorus.
Beans.
So after the tomb is closed and everything is like, okay, the men are released or whatever, like it's just Cersei, Barbara, and Diana in the tomb. And Diana finally has a moment, turns to Barbara and is like, Barbara, what did you do? And Diana is not thrilled with Barbara's choice. And Barbara's like, you were going to die. I couldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
Of course I don't trust her, but like, you're my best friend. I couldn't let this happen to you. And so they kind of go back and forth, and Diana is just worried about Barbara. And like, you don't know what this realm is like. I mean, you've read the stories and the myths, but you don't know what it's really like. You can't trust her. There are downsides to this. Barbara, on the hand, is like, this has been my dream my entire life.
Yeah.
To find all this stuff, and now I'm a part of it. I'm immortal. Diana, we could be best friends forever.
Yeah.
You don't have to be alone anymore.
Good. That's really good. Yeah.
We can go around, we can find all these other relics, we can like learn about stuff, we can go to Themyscira.
Yeah,
like,
we can save the world.
We can save the world. But Diana is just very concerned about what Cersei can do to Barbara and just what these powers could do to Barbara.
Yeah.
Because
in her own way, she is caring about her friend.
She very much cares about her friend. Barbara clocks all of this as rejection.
1,000%.
Because this is just like those flashbacks of when she was in college and just getting rejected by the cool, popular people when she tried to be like, hey, nope, it's the same thing all, and from her new best friend. She just achieved her dream, and her best friend was like, which is not the response she was looking for.
Yeah.
Even though she knew this is kind of iffy coming from Cersei, but like, I did just save your life, and that was kind of awesome. Did you see all those cool kickflips I did? It was nuts. So just as they get to a crescendo of like Barbara like losing it on her, time just stops. Because Cersei just starts laughing her ass off because she's loving every moment of this, because this is what she's been building towards. The whole situation, this comes out in a monologue. Cersei did all of this because Cersei's been clocked Diana the moment she left Themyscira back in World War I. Because Cersei hates Hippolyta, hates her mom for stuff they did in the past.
Reasons.
But I could never get to them because they're on Themyscira. But now you left the island, and you're the daughter of the woman I hate the most in the world, just running around the world of men all by herself. You loved a guy, and he died, and you've been by yourself for 70 years, and you finally had a best friend. You finally opened your heart. That's why I had to take it away from you. So like, she's just cruel. It's like Joker-esque mean.
All right, I'm into that.
So then Diana, livid, attacks her and is like, why would you play with someone innocent like that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And so she just turns like, because I can. Time unfreezes. Barbara launches herself at Diana because she's so frustrated and angry. And now Barbara and Diana fight. And Diana is just not in a good place because her best friend is the goddess of the hunt, and Diana knows what that is. And it's not the best thing in the world. So they're fighting.
Yeah.
And but Diana's pulling all of her punches. And Barbara's not.
Yeah.
So like she's beating her. Mm-hmm. And eventually Diana does like hit her because she has to, but she just like gets her away from her, and then she just gives up. Because it's her best friend.
Yeah.
She doesn't want she could beat her. She probably could because she's got,
she's got a lot more experience.
A lot more experience, but she doesn't want to.
Yeah. Hunting's different than war.
So
Combat
Barbara's
wise.
not thrilled with her not fighting back anymore. And Cersei's just like eating popcorn, just loving, oh, this is the best thing ever. And so Barbara just gets really frustrated and just leaves. It's like, you know what? If this is, I have other
I'll
things
save
to
the world myself.
Yeah. I'm immortal now. I got so many other things I can do. So many relics I can find. All sorts of mysteries I can solve and figure out now. I got nothing but time, and with these powers, I can do anything I want.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Cersei gloats a little bit more, and Diana's just beaten in the tomb. She's just really, really sad.
Yeah.
Slow fade to darkness. We fade back up sometime later, back in D.C., and Diana goes on about her life, like at the Smithsonian. And realizes that, yeah, this sucked. This was really dark. And granted, the firstborn, I know where he is now. And so that at least he wasn't freed. So that's good. And the army guys are fine. So at least that's good.
We can rebury that.
Yeah. We can put that on the down low. But like, this was really bad. But like, at least one of the good things is that I learned I opened up my heart. And while I got hurt, like, I haven't done that in like 80 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, maybe I do need to get back in the world a little bit more. Maybe I do have to be more out there for people who to come in and like be a part of all this.
Yeah, dude.
So, she's like, Barbara, I'm gonna find you one day and I'll get through to you. I'll save you from this, or figure something out.
Yeah.
Because you're my best friend and I love you, and you're out there dealing with something that you honestly just don't understand right now. So, kind of like a similar shot to the end of Batman Returns. We get like, there's something bad's happening somewhere, and Diana like magical girl transformations and flies off as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But in so doing, kind of like Batman Returns, we see Cheetah stand up. Remember, because Catwoman stands up
yeah.
The same thing happens. Cheetah stands up, or we see Cheetah in like silhouette in that shot as she's like watching Diana like fly away because she's out there doing stuff.
All right.
The end.
That's pretty great, man.
Yeah. Cersei's a bitch. Cersei's no joke.
No, and she's also the right... you have to expand what's... like that world. They don't expand that world enough. They do, like, they show us Themyscira and stuff.
Sure.
And like, I guess they gave us Ares to some degree, but it just didn't feel like... It just didn't feel like visceral. It didn't feel attached to anything.
It wasn't.
Like, yeah, and that's the right way to kind of like flush out that world even more.
Yeah, she's an immortal witch.
Yeah.
Someone who works for Hecate, who hates the Amazons. Or sometimes she's like okay with them, but like she fluctuates. And right now, she hates Diana.
She hates the Amazons. So they're an island full of women that figured out how to access the morphin grid.
Oh, that's the thing. Sorry, the small detail that I wrote her monologue. I didn't read it all, but Cersei was just laughing her ass off at her because like, I just took away your best friend who, could have been your best friend for a very long time, or maybe something more, but now you'll never know because like she's an Amazon. Like she even talked about it in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because he was like, so what do you like? Guys, just like, what? Yeah, we just get together. What's the big deal? He's like, oh wow, okay, cool. But like, I think having that type of friendship, almost maybe a romantic relationship between or just a possibility of Diana and Barbara like clicking like that is like, that just turns up the drama because like yeah, man, they're kindred souls.
Yeah, man.
And Cersei just like, nope, ha, just corrupted her right in front of her the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just cruel.
Yeah. Whew. All right. That's
Did
awesome,
it.
man. We did it.
We did do it.
These are so much better. Man, I thought I was going to like this movie on the second go-around.
But lies, Jay, lies are bad.
It pissed me off even more.
And wishes are, just don't wish. And I'm just,
oh, man.
He's just trying to, Pedro Pascal is just trying to be a good dad again. But he
How
just
do I
like,
reach
almost,
my key?
he just destroys the world almost. And just
boy.
nukes and blah, and blah. How did the lasso reach him, Jay?
I don't know.
How? It couldn't. Too much wind.
Well,
and then
we
it did.
fixed it. I think we did it, but
How was her speech broadcast to the world?
I think we fixed it. We did it. 2 different directions, but both very, very fun. Good job, buddy. That was really good.
Yeah, it's just fun, man. Let's have some fun with these movies.
Yeah, man. Have some fun. Have some fun, DC. Come on,
Speaking
man.
of which, Shazam is out on Friday.
Yeah.
And hopefully that movie is fun.
Yeah, man, I hope so.
First one was, so hopefully this
Yeah,
one will
that's
be
true.
as well.
That's true. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching and listening and all those good fun things. I think that's our episode for today. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell and doing that YouTube that you do so well, that would be awesome. Also, if you're listening to this wherever you catch your podcasts, if you wouldn't mind leaving a quick review, it means a lot to me. I actually read them. I want to get more reviews on the podcatcher apps because I just like seeing them. It's fun. There's more I could say to that point, like, oh, like it helps the show, blah 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 blah. It's for my own personal vindication.
But really, just it's
1,000%.
It's just for Jay.
It's just for your boy Jay. Thank you guys so much. We love making this show, and we love that you love listening to it. And as we end every episode, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the slow, you know what? It's the slow creeping lasso of truth that you don't see coming, getting attached to your ankle and hijacking your broadcast. That you don't see coming.
Yep.
How? But how?
Right,
there was too much wind.
Bye, everybody.
Didn't make any sense.